morning, Griffins. We're going to take a little bit break from solving equations, and we're going to be solving inequalities soon. So before we get into solving inequalities, we're going to review how to graph inequalities. This is something that you probably had done last year, so we're just going to do a little refresher lesson. So when we graph a number on the number line, when we graph an inequality, we have two options, greater than, less than, or we actually have four then, because we have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So this first one we are graphing is x is greater than 5. So since it's greater than 5, I put an open circle at the 5, and I want all the numbers that are bigger than 5. So I can look to the right or to the left. So what is bigger than 5 is 6, so the arrow needs to go toward the 6, and it'll go toward all the numbers bigger than 6. So the size of the arrow doesn't matter. You can make a little short arrow, a little long arrow, as long as you're pointing in that direction. Now the next one says x is greater than or equal to 5. So what I'm going to do is at the 5, I'm going to do a closed circle. So this circle is filled in. And the reason that it is filled in is 5 counts as an answer, because 5 is equal to, because it says greater than or equal to. So that, again, the arrow is going to go to the right because those are the numbers that are bigger than 5. Now the open circle means I want to be as close to 5 as possible without actually being on 5. So 5.1, 5.01, 5.00001. And since that's really hard to graph, we graph with an open circle on the 5. So when we graph inequalities, if it's a greater than or a less than, you're going to use an open circle. If it's a greater than or equal to, or a less than or equal to, you use a closed circle. So you're going to put that circle, whether it's open or closed, on the value of the number on the number line. And then you're going to point the arrow in the direction that's going to make all of those values be true. So on this one, if I graph x is less than or equal to 3. Since it's less than or equal to, that means I'm going to put a closed circle at 3. And I want the numbers that are smaller than 3. Well, 2 is smaller than 3, so I make the arrow go in that direction. The next one is x is greater than negative 1. Since it's greater than, I'm going to put an open circle at negative 1. And greater than means bigger than. I want all the numbers bigger than negative 1, so I'm going to the right or in the positive direction. So these are two practice problems for you. So on the first one, first of all, you need to decide, is this going to be an open circle or a closed circle? It's going to be a closed circle at 1. And then you need to decide, should the arrow go toward the right or to the left? So should I be going toward the 2 or should I be going toward the 0? And since 2 is greater than 1, I go to the right toward the 2. The next equation is x is less than or equal to 0. Again, is this an open circle or a closed circle? It is a closed circle at 0. And I want numbers less than 0, so should I go toward the negative numbers or toward the positive numbers? And since the negative numbers are smaller than 0, less than 0, I make the arrow go to the left. What we're doing on these two is we're going to need to write the inequality. So for us to write the inequality, I'm going to start off with x and then the value that I'm at. I'm at 2. Then I need to decide, are the numbers, is the arrow going toward numbers that are bigger than 2 or smaller than 2? Since it's smaller, it is a less than. And then I need to decide, is this a less than or a less than or equal to? Since the circle is filled in, it also has the line equal to. So the inequality for this graph is x is less than or equal to 2. For letter B, again, I'm going to start with the x, and the graph is starting at 1. And then are the numbers greater than 1 or less than 1? Since they're less than, smaller than 1, I put a less than, and it's an open circle, so that's my final answer. X is less than 1. So here are your two practice problems. So for letter A, we're going to start with x and then what number? it'll be 7, and you need to decide, are these numbers greater than 7 or less than 7? Since they are greater than or bigger than 7, are the inequality greater than, and because it's an open circle, I'm going to leave it as greater than. For letter B, again, we start with x and the number 1, and then I need to decide, is the numbers less than or greater than? The numbers are less than 1, and because it's got a closed circle, I put a bar underneath, so x is less than or equal to 1. So this is what your assignment is on today. So you have a quizzes for your homework. So you've got quizzes to do. You need to get at least 85% on the quizzes for it to get full credit for the homework. And then because it is Tuesday, you also have Prodigy to work on. You need to get 20 correct problems, and these are all due by Friday. So